All right, welcome in. Tigers win. They get the all-important doubleheader split with Texas A&M. 3-1 A&M final in the first game. 2-1 final in the second game. And Anthony Iansson is obviously where we're going to start. That was an incredible outing from Iansson. Complete game, 112 pitches, just 3 hits, and earned 1, walked just 1, and punched out 14 over the course of the game. That was by far his best outing in an LSU uniform, and I don't really know how you top that one going forward. Given the moment you lose the first game, your offense sputtered all day. Credit A&M's pitchers. I mean, Ryan Prager was awesome, and then out of the bullpen today, McCoy, but Lampkin was great, and Iansson from jump was just in control, and he was so efficient. Like, you could see it early in that game that he had it in the tank to go CG, and he did, and he was awesome. And there's a few moments in particular that I want to talk about from that game. First of all, he's perfect through 3 innings. He's thrown a perfect game through 3 innings. But in the 6th, so LSU, they manufacture some offense, and while, look, LSU's offense wasn't great all day long, what the difference was there in game 2 rather than game 1 is when LSU had their opportunity in the 6th, they scored. And not only did they scored multiple runs. They put up a crooked number. And you saw how big that was. Because you go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Iansson had been awesome all night. And that was the biggest inning of the night for him, where he needed to have the shutdown 0. And Ben Royo, who has just been a pain in LSU's ass all weekend long, goes homer to start the inning, and it's like, well, crap. There goes the shutdown 0 from the first hitter of the inning. But what's hidden in that inning is what happened next. That's the 9-hole who just cut the lead in half. And now you're flipping to Laviolette, to Wyatt Hensler, to Caden Sorrell. And Anthony Iansson responds as good as anybody can in that moment. Punches out Jace Laviolette, punches out Wyatt Hensler. Laviolette was looking, Hensler was swinging, and then gets Sorrell to ground out to second base. He didn't have the shutdown 0, but damn it, he had a shutdown inning. He kept the lead. He kept it small and preserved the lead and did it through the top of the order. And then I'll tell you the other instance I want to talk about is the 9th inning. The 6th and the 9th are the 2 most impressive innings for me from Anthony Iansson, because for one in the 9th, he's up around 100 pitches, and he's still just creasing 95 down the middle of the plate. And he got a gift. He got a gift of a strikeout. And the umpires, especially behind home plate, have been horrible so far this series. I mean, it's really inexcusable. But in that 9th inning, LSU did everything they could to try to scratch across a run from the 6th on to give you some more insurance, and it just wasn't happening. And again, you tip your hat to Caden McCoy. He was awesome out of the A&M bullpen. That's a freshman in a huge moment where they're trying to get every win they can to make the postseason. Credit that kid. So you just knew, okay, you're going to have to protect a 1-run lead. And then you look at the hitters coming up in that 9th inning, and it's 2, 3, and 4. It's Hensler and Sorrell and then Bear Harrison. And, look, you get the gift on the strikeout of Hensler. Sorrell singles, and you're like, okay, well, here you go, right? You knew it wasn't going to be easy with those 3 coming up. And Iansson, over 100 pitches at that time, he absolutely carves Bear Harrison. 3 pitches. Fastball low and in, which set up the slider away and punched him out. And then you get Caden Kent on the ground out to end the ball game. I mean, Kent struck out swinging as well. I apologize. Kent struck out swinging as well. You struck out the side in the 9th. 14 punch outs for Anthony Iansson. That goes along with 12 from Cade Anderson in the first game. Your 1-2 punch was simply phenomenal in College Station. That's exactly the type of outing you needed from Anthony Iansson because your offense was struggling. Now, when you look back at this season, both your 1 and 2 have both gone complete game for you. Both on the road, both in huge moments in the series. Cade Anderson's, of course, was the complete game shut piece against Oklahoma, out-dueling Kyson Witherspoon. And then here, when you need the all-important doubleheader split, that's just, it doesn't get any bigger than that for Anthony Iansson. Because now, what do we always talk about on the road? What do we always talk about on the road? You have to win one. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear. You want to go out and you want to win every series. And believe me, so do I, and so do they. But you have to at least get one. We throw out the old pulmonary line all the time. It's hard to sweep in this league. It's not hard to get swept. And, man, LSU won't be getting swept this weekend, and they have their pitching to thank for that tenfold. We're going to get into some of the performances from earlier in the day as well, because I have some thoughts on Cade Anderson. But just as a whole, your 1-2, Anderson, Iansson, they were awesome. You're looking at 26 punch-outs and 4 walks just from those two guys. Your staff as a whole through 2 games, 30 punch-outs, 5 walks. That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Offensively in the ball game, game 2, and then we'll move on to game 1, and then we'll take your questions. Ethan Fry. Y'all, we talked about it on the preview. He was going to have to be big in this series because you're going to see so much left-handed pitching. All 3 of their starters are lefties. You've seen both Cadens out of the bullpen who are lefties, and they got more. And Fry hits lefties so well. I was shocked he wasn't in the game 1 lineup, and in fact, I wasn't in favor of it. And looking back at it, as much as your offense struggled, and you got him a pinch hit at bat late in the game, and he put a good swing on it, it was just right at the right fielder. And then, I mean, y'all, through the first, the first 5 innings of that ball game, he was your only offense. He had your 2 hits, 2 singles, an RBI double that tied the game. Ethan Fry was awesome. He was huge. Absolutely huge. In the game for LSU, like we thought he could be in this series, because he hits left-handed pitching so well. He'll be back in the lineup again tomorrow. At least he better be. I'm going to be livid if he's not in there against Miles Patton, because of what he's done. He's been great. And Josh Pearson's been phenomenal in this series for LSU as well, where you look at Pearson and he has the 3-hit day game 1, 3 for 3, and then that the single, what ended up being a bunt single on the squeeze play earlier, he was awesome. And then Bear Jones. Bear Jones has been great. He had 3 hits in the doubleheader, a double, a homer. He's hot right now, finally again. It looks like he's breaking out of it, and that was great. But man, I mean, look, when you look at LSU's offense as a whole, that's the wrong game. When you look at LSU's offense as a whole in game number 2, it's not going to jump off the page at you. 2 runs on 6 hits. I mean, I know that's not what everybody wants to see. You were 2 of 8 with runners in scoring position. Like, I get it. But you know what you were? You were 1 for 1 with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. And that's huge. And when you really needed it to come through, it came through for you there. And you made it hold up, because Anthony Ianson's a dog. And boy, walking off that field, he let everybody know that he's a dog. And look, we can troll the Aggies all we want, and Lord knows we do it, because quite honestly, it's a lot of fun. But that's a tough place to play. And they get on a pitcher better than anybody. And they were on Iansson all game long, whether it's the slow chant of his name or just anything like that. In that 6th inning, he silenced them. In that 9th inning, he silenced them. In the 5th inning, I should have talked about the 5th inning too. 5th inning, that was massive for him to get out of the 5th, because that was the first threat A&M mounted. And in that 5th inning, they get the leadoff man on. After a Kent flyout, he walks a guy, and that place is going nuts, giving him hell, and he goes punch out of shot and keel to keep a 0 on the board. Now, again, that was a bit of a gift, because that was the inning that Keel check swung, and the umpire rung him up when he didn't really swing. But all home plate umpires should be mandated to appeal down to the bases on those calls. There was a horrible one against Texas last night as well. But you'll take it. And that was a huge moment. He silenced them all night long. He silenced the A&M bats. He silenced that crowd all night long. You really just can't say enough about Anthony Iansson. When you look at his last two outings in particular, where, what's been the MO for Iansson, y'all? He gets off to a slow start and gets stronger as the game goes along. The last 2 weeks, he's gotten off to fast starts and he's made it stand up. None bigger than tonight. I mean, just the magnitude of what he just accomplished, it far outweighs anything. That was a huge win for LSU. A huge, huge win for LSU. And the other thing that it did, and I saw plenty of y'all already talking about it in the chat, it saved Case and Evans. And now you have Case and Evans to start the game on Sunday. And yeah, you feel great about that. You do. And you have a really rested bullpen behind him as well. Zach Cowan threw 16 pitches. He's definitely available for tomorrow. It will be interesting to see how he might perform. That'd be the first time he's pitched on back-to-back. No, it won't. I'm sorry. He did that in the Alabama series. He had to pitch back-to-back days. He got the job done for you, made it hold up a one-run lead, but he wasn't as sharp. So that'll be something interesting to see. But yes, you have him available, and I fully expect Case and Evans to start to start the series finale on Sunday. And man, I think he'll be fantastic. So yes, Chris, you're correct. Evans can pitch great. The offense does need to come alive, but it's Sunday. Sundays in the league, it can get a little hairy offensively from time to time for the pitchers. The offenses normally show up there. Okay, a few thoughts on game number 1, and then we'll get some questions. I really kind of just want to keep talking about Anthony Iansson because, let him hang, young man. But a few thoughts on the game number 1. Cade Anderson was obviously incredible, especially with runners on base. I don't know how that's not just the takeaway for you there. Anderson was so let's see. The leadoff guy reaches in the second. In the second inning, he comes around to score on the misplay in center by Stanfield, which was tough. But Anderson gets out of that inning, only allowing the 1. Right? And then, after that, the leadoff man just continued to reach for Texas A&M. Reached in the 3rd. Reached in the 4th. Reached in the 5th. And Anderson put up 3 major zeros. Major zeros. He had everything working, held the velocity incredibly well. He wasn't as efficient as he has been. He was at 74 pitches. 74 pitches through 4, and he ends up getting you through 6. I thought that was massive from Anderson. And then, when you end up in that 6th inning, the leadoff guy reaches yet again, and he strikes out the side after it. Anderson, he was himself. He kept you in the game and gave you every chance to win it. You go to Zach Cowan in the tied game. Loved that decision. Absolutely loved that decision to go to Cowan. You're playing to win. Ben Roya, who's just been a pain in your ass, triples to right field, and then Hayden shot singles. You end up getting Cowan out of the game. You're down 2-1, and LSU goes to Cooper Williams. And we talked about this too. Your lefties are going to have to be big. They go to Cooper Williams, a freshman, to face Caden Sorrell in a 1-run game. And he did his job. But Chris Stanfield misplayed it in center field again. He got the pop-up. He got the fly ball. And you misplayed it and allowed another run to score. But that's where Maverick Rizzi enters the conversation. And Maverick Rizzi was phenomenal. Rizzi comes in with a runner at second. You intentionally walk Caden Kent. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. He comes in with the runner at second. He strikes out Bear Harrison. Then you intentionally walk Caden Kent. So you have first and third. And he punches out Benderup, who'd been the hottest hitter coming into the weekend for Texas A&M. And that was massive. And then not only did he do that, he kept you in the ballgame. I mean, he keeps you in the ballgame, gets 3 up, 3 down in the 8th, and then Rizzy, he kept there to 2 runs. He was great. I thought that the fastball had great run to it. It was up to 98 at points. Slider was good. That's what it can look like, y'all. When Maverick Rizzy's in the zone, he's unhittable. He's just got to throw strikes, and he did right there. He was awesome. That's big for him building. Let's see, pitch count for him. I don't remember off the top of my head. He threw 22. If you really want him to come back tomorrow, he can come back. I don't know if that's the way LSU's going to go, but he can come back. So a couple things offensively in the game. Game number 1, you just weren't good. I mean, your approach was really poor. The LSU had 12 fly ball outs in that game on a day where the wind's blowing in. I mean, Bear absolutely destroyed one, 112 miles an hour off the bat to right. That was awesome. But, 12 fly outs, hard, not far. And they just kept getting it up and getting knocked down by the wind. When you had an opportunity to score, and that was in the 7th inning. You had the opportunity to score, and Josh Jordan sends Stephen Milam, in my opinion, inexplicably. I know there's 2 outs. I'm all for being aggressive. Like, I can get behind being aggressive, but that play is right in front of you. Stanfield hooks that double down the left field line, and it didn't even make it all the way to the wall. It went into foul territory, kicks off their little sidewall. The play is right in front of you, Josh Jordan. The play is right in front of Stephen Milam, and that wasn't on Milam. You can see on the replay, Jordan is halfway down the line, waving him in. Milam hit the bag when the ball got back to the infield. And when you look at that spot, you hold him. You have runners at second and third with the top of your order coming up. And I know Curiel struggled this weekend. And damn it, that's tough. That's tough. But I feel a lot better in that moment where you would have second and third for one of the most clutch hitters on your team coming up, where you have to pitch him because Jared Jones is on deck. Yeah, you can walk him low the bases, but Jared Jones is on deck, who already went yard. And actually, I believe in that next at bat from Jones, he singled up the middle. All things aren't equal. I understand. But I did not like that decision to send Milam at all. Like I said, I'm all for being aggressive, especially with 2 outs. But with the play right in front of you like that and your leadoff coming up next, I hated that move. I absolutely hated that move, and I thought it was the wrong move. That moment, and then the 8th inning. I mean, you ended up loading the bases, and you couldn't get the hit with the runner in scoring position. I mean, that was it. LSU was 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position in game number 1. They were only 4 out of 16 in advancement opportunities. They just didn't move the offense. Fire 34-49. Iansson threw 112, I believe, is his final count. Let me double check that for you real quick, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. LSU was not the home team. 112 final count for Anthony Iansson. But look, man, you erased a lot of the memory of game 1 with that one tonight. That was awesome. That was awesome. Randall, he did send the runner. Josh Jordan did send the runner. Go back and watch the replay. You can see him halfway down the line, waving Milam home. He sent him. One more thing I want to say about Iansson. I meant to do this before we moved on to game 2, and I promise we'll take a few questions. He mixed his pitches incredibly well. Incredibly well. He had them off balance all game long. And that was no further evident than in the 9th inning when A&M is letting 94-mile-an-hour heaters go right by them down the middle of the plate. But I'll give you the example that I loved. Early in that ball game, and this is what helped Iansson extend and help him go. deep into this game. The feel he had for his off speed early, and especially the curve, especially his 12-6 curveball. And if you'll notice, he stopped throwing that second and third trip kind of through the lineup. He went much more to the heater and that split change and his slider. And then come late in the 7th inning and 8th inning, he started flipping that curveball over again, and they just weren't ready for it. And he still had the great command, and they took it. They just kept taking it. I mean, man, LSU's arms have been so locked in this week. I mean, we talked about Rizzi, we talked about Anderson, we've talked plenty about Iansson, but you're just not going to see somebody more locked in than Anthony Iansson was. He was absolutely awesome, man. He was absolutely awesome. So, just hats off to him. 112 pitches, 80 for strikes. 80 for strikes. Wow. I mean, that is... I think Cade Anderson threw like 90-something strikes in his complete game. He also threw 134 pitches. But, man, just awesome. That's a great win. That makes today a lot more stomachable, even with your offensive issues. I really hated your struggles against Ryan Prager because he's been hit around. Like, I get it. Ryan Prager was awesome last year. That's fine. Ryan Prager's going to get drafted. That's great. Ryan Prager tops out at 90 miles an hour. And opponents rating 321 against him. LSU just did not. And he pitched well. Like, he pitched really well. But LSU just didn't look good at the plate. I mean, again, all the pop-ups, you didn't take good swings. So I'm really disappointed in that. All right, questions. Let's wrap this up. Y'all got some questions. Oh, wait, Gauntlet Light Installers. Gauntletlights.com. Get the questions in. I'll go back in the chat. Gauntlet Light Installers, gauntletlights.com. Permanent outdoor landscape lighting, front yard flower beds, backyard patios, custom design. They'll come install. They'll maintain. Gauntlet Light Installers. And again, y'all, May is here. Graduations. Hosting a grad party, your private event, you need some lights. Gauntlet Light Installers, temporary outdoor lighting. It's very similar to the Christmas lights. It's your custom design. They come, install, they can maintain, tear down. They'll take it away for you as well. It's Gauntlet Light Installers, gauntletlights.com. Tell them you heard it right here on Musso at the Box. Do business with Derek and his team. You won't regret it. All right. Let's see. Questions. Randall wants to know, is A&M pitching Curiel differently than other teams have this year? I don't see that. I think he's just finally slumping a little bit. Slumps happen, even to the best. I can't imagine it'll go further than tomorrow. But no, I mean, I haven't noticed them pitch him really any differently. But it's kind of been hard to tell how Curiel's being pitched because it hadn't really mattered. He's just knocked the ball around regardless. So I love that. Chow Time. I'm glad you brought this up, Chow Time. Musso, are you worried about the bats against top-end pitchers? This team is in the inverse of 23 going into the postseason. Here's my thing with the top-end pitchers. You want to talk about the aces that LSU has beaten this year? Jared Spencer. That's a lefty who throws 96, by the way, and was the ace of the #1 team in the country before he got hurt. You got him for 5 earned runs. You beat him pretty good. You've beat Pico Khan. Pico Khan's a really tough lefty for Mississippi State. Low 90s heat, great breaking ball. You beat him too. Kyson Witherspoon's going to be a top 15 pick in the draft. You beat him. 2 runs on 6 hits in really tough offensive conditions. You beat that guy too. Riley Quick. I know everybody wants to talk about Zane Adams and the other guy from Alabama. Riley Quick's their best pitcher. You got him for 4 earned. By the way, he went, I think, 5 2/3 dominant outing today against Vanderbilt. You beat him. LSU has beaten plenty of top pitchers this season. Plenty. Good pitching beats good. You won the game that Liam Doyle pitched. I know Liam Doyle carved you up, but you won that game. So you stole it. Okay, who cares? But that's huge. LSU, they can hit top line pitching. They've shown that. Like, they can do it. Look at the bullpen arms from Tennessee that you hit last week. Yo, Tanner Franklin throwing 100 miles an hour. So you've lost 2 game ones all year. LSU's been fine over the course. Right now, yeah, I'm a little worried. In the immediacy, because I just don't think they've taken the approaches that they needed to. You beat Justin Lampkin tonight. Like you beat Lampkin. Lampkin's really good. So no, in a sense, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about the offense as a whole a little bit more because they're falling into a lull where they're not doing things that have been hallmarks for them all season long, no matter who they're facing. Like 2-out hitting, 2-strike hitting, runners with scores in position, hitting with runners in scoring position. I can't talk, guys. All those things. So they need to find the consistency again on offense. But I'm not gonna sit there and act like LSU hadn't hit good pitching this year. Chow time more lately, then yes, more lately, yeah. The offense, I've been not worried, but I haven't loved it lately. I want to go back, Leon. I'll come to your question here. Okay, let's see. Leon asks who goes for A&M tomorrow. So A&M will start their 3rd lefty of the weekend. It's Miles Patton. He's a transfer from Long Beach State. He's been a little bit of a roller coaster, as Sunday guys normally are. He was really good against Texas a week ago, but he's given up 7 earned on 2 different Sundays this year, so he can be got. But it's going to be, kind of a low 90s fastball, not overpowering, a little bit more similar to Ryan Prager. Doesn't have as electric stuff as a guy like Lampkin, but fastball, slider, change, like you've seen from all 3 of the A&M lefties. But again, up and down, and he's been he's been gettable. So LSU needs to get him. Like, I'd like to see an offensive output similar to what you saw on Saturday. What's up, Brian? Good to see you in the chat, man. Hope all's well over on the West Coast. What are your concerns for the Tigers tomorrow? Offense. I think Case and Evans will deal. And I like what you have behind him. I mean, you have just about anybody you want behind him tomorrow. Outside of Anderson, Iansson, I think you can throw Cowan, but I don't know if he's going to be as sharp as he has been. He really wasn't as sharp as he has been today either. The ball that Royo hit off Cowan in that 9th is the best swing anyone's taken on that Cowan changeup this year. But I mean, you have Shores, you have Primo, you have Connor Ware. Maverick Grizzly threw 22 pitches. Don't know if you want to pitch him back to back. We'll see about, William Schmidt. Like, you've got everybody. So you're set up well on the mound, and I'm expecting another great outing from Case and Evans. So offense, I want to see LSU attack Miles Patton and manufacture runs, kind of like they did in that 6th inning, but more. Like, you need to score in more than 1 inning. LSU has scored in 2 innings all weekend. Leon, you have Jacob Myers available. 2 innings all weekend, and this series is 1-1. Your pitchers have just been absolute dogs in this freaking weekend. We'll see. We'll see. But offense is going to be that. Y'all smash the like button if you haven't already, please. Mark S. Where would Bruce Sproul fit into the... Bruce Sproul is a name that I haven't heard in a long time. Let me tell you something. 10-year-old Matt Musso was a huge Bruce Sproul guy. Big Bruce Sproul guy. He says he was Curiel before Curiel. No offense to Bruce Sproul. I think Curiel's a little better. But, Bruce could hit anywhere in the lineup, man. He did that under Smoke. But probably at the top. Good speed. Yeah. Justin Hunt, great question. What about A&M's bullpen? We'll probably end on this one. Well, actually, I like that question too. All right, these are going to be the 2 that we're probably going to end on here. What about their bullpen? Okay, so that was the important thing in game number 1. You got to look at Weston. I got to look up the kid's name. Almost said Weston Davis. He's an offensive tackle for LSU's football team. That's not who you almost got to look at. Weston Moss. Thank you, DeGoat, you heard. Weston Moss and Caden Wilson. You forced both of those guys into the game at the end of game one. Now, they pitched. Their pitch counts weren't bad. They each threw 26, so they could come back. But you saw them. You got to look at them. And that's what's important. You could see Luke Jackson again. He pitched the nightcap, and they took him out quick. The only one that's unavailable is Caden McCoy. You haven't seen Brad Rudis. And Fresh something or another is his name. Sorry, I exited out of their roster. Fresh Bircher, Fresh something like that. I don't know. But I mean, they've got some guys. So they did. Fred to go. You heard Fresh Prince, maybe Fresh Corn, Cloud Zach. Thank you, Fresh Corn. Yes, that's his name. Caleb Fresh Corn, something like that. You haven't seen him either. But man, look, when you got Case and Evans going, I like you. I like you. So I like that. And then the other question that I really liked and wanted to answer was Cloud Zach says Luke Jackson hasn't thrown a strike in 2 weekends. Fair. It's fair. But he does throw 96 with a pretty good slider when he's on. Where'd it go? I want to give the guy credit. Where is it? There it is. SMS and then a bunch of numbers following. Do they go back to the traditional lineup tomorrow? The game 2 lineup was strange. The game 2 lineup was ridiculous. But you won the game behind it. And I liked how it did allow you to mix and match. But I did not like starting John Pearson. I did not like starting Cade Arrambide. That's just 2 inexperienced hitters that you put in there in a really, really huge spot for your team. That shows a lot of faith in those guys, but it went about as how you expected. Now, I did think Arrambide hit the ball hard a couple of times. But John Pearson looked a little overmatched. I don't love Jared Jones in the leadoff spot. He did lead off 2 innings. One of them he led off with a double, so I mean, it kind of worked. I thought Arrambide caught exceptionally well. The offense, you're just giving up a little, and that's why I didn't really love those moves for the lineup. With your offense scuffling, I'm more of the go with your guys. I would like Ethan Fry in the lineup at DH, Jake Brown back in there, and then have Josh Pearson somewhere on the bench in a big spot. But what they might do is they might start Pearson in right and DH Fry to get both their bats in the lineup since they both had awesome days in this doubleheader. But I do think you see a more traditional lineup. I would like Curiel back at the top. I like they've moved Milam back down to the 8-hole. I would like to see that continue. He's going to see more fastballs and just things of that nature down there. And that's where he really broke out of his slump earlier in the season, was in the 8-hole. And then obviously you moved him up in the lineup. So I liked that move. And I can't get behind moving Stanfield out of the 9-hole. I like him down there too much, especially behind Milam. So I think you do see a more traditional lineup. But it might not be totally traditional. Noah Lejeune said Texas got swept. LOL. Yeah, they did. I really hope Arkansas kind of blew their wad there before they come to Baton Rouge, because they looked awesome this weekend. Absolutely awesome. All right, y'all. Smash the like button, please, if you have not already, and get subscribed to the show, YouTube, and on your favorite podcast app. That's greatly appreciated. I would just say subscribe to both. And, of course, follow on social media, Twitter X at Muso Matthew. You can find me Instagram, Facebook. All of that is greatly appreciated. Subscribe, smash the like, go to Got Lit Light Installers, get lit. Work with Derek and his team. Tell him you heard it here on Muso at the Box. And we'll see you for a weekend recap after Sunday's game.